Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're going to discuss the new bonus update for 10.7 that's going live today, July 25. Now they actually slipped this one last thing yesterday, or last minute yesterday, right? So I don't know why they held on to this update for so long before actually pushing it out. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Now I can't tell you that I'm very surprised of some nerfs that were not in this update. But I'm not surprised at the fact that Guardians and Assassins, especially Assassins, got hit pretty hard. So let's get into this. This goes live today, July 25th, Tuesday, right? So we're going to get that new skin for the Crimson Shredder, it looks like to me, right? For Tsukuyomi. But let's get into the items, right? So here we go. Archdruid's Fury, right? So they decrease the passive trigger damage on this one from 40 to 30 magical damage per stack. Now, this is where we're going to get into that Guardian nerfs, right? I could have almost betted the farm that they were going to end up nerfing Charon, right? But they didn't. The new guy did not get nerfed in this update, which was very surprising to me. In a way, though, all Guardians got pretty much nerfed in the way that Eternal Staff and Gladiator Shields are two of the most popular items for a very nice bruiser type build, right? So here we go. Eternal Staff, they decreased the percentage health damage proc from 8% to 6%. So they took away 2% health that you get when this thing's procs, which is pretty significant, man. And Gladiator Shield, oh my goodness. So they increased the cost of this by 100 gold, but they also decreased the passive trigger damage scaling on this one from 30% to 25%. So they took away 5% damage on this that you get from all your protections from items and abilities. Now, Serrated Edge. Now, for Serrated Edge, this is more obviously going to affect more of the Assassins, right? So for this one, they decreased the passive damage by 30%. So it went from 10 to 7 per stack on this one. I actually stopped using Serrated Edge a long time ago when they started nerfing it, but there are a lot of Assassins out there that actually still use this, so we'll see how this is going to work for them, right? So this is very interesting. For Arena, I don't think that this is going to really affect us much because I don't really see two of these guys, maybe even three of these guys played much in Arena. But the fact that they don't already get played that much, I think this is going to affect them in a negative way where people are going to not want to play them even more. And the first one is Bakasura, right? So for him, his Eat minions, they increase the cooldown from what used to be 8 seconds across the board to 10, 9.5, 9, 8.5, and at the late game, 8 seconds. So they added 2 seconds early game, which is a very big nerf, man. And then Butcher's Blaze, they decrease the passive power scale, physical power scaling from 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30, and they just decrease it by 5 across the board to 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. So that's, again, another big nerf. Kali, she also got nerfed. So her Marked for Death, where you pick somebody, you know, to kill and then you get all that health, right? Or even more penetration on them. So they increased the physical penetration scaling on this one from 0.5 to 0.25 per level and decreased total decrease of 5%. This used to be 10%, now it's 5%. So that's a 50% nerf on this passive, which is very nasty. Maricaris, right? So the Manicore King. Now, they're starting to go down that trend of having a very powerful god, and then once he starts getting, you know, not that new car smell going away, right? Not that many people play him as much, then they start hitting him with that nerf stick, and I think that's what happened to the Manicore. They're actually nerfing them yet again. They kind of went down this road with Merlin and with the Baron, especially the Baron, dude. When the Baron first came out, he was so powerful, but then they just watered him down. I mean, he's still pretty powerful as it is now, but he's very watered down compared to how he was when he first came out. But Maricaris, his stalk of prey, right, or his little golf course he can put out in the middle of the arena. So decrease the movement speed you get from this by 5% across the board on this one. And his Death from Above, they're nerfing it yet again, right? So decrease the damage per hit on this one from 35, 50, 65, 80, and 95, plus 18% of your physical power to, they took away, it looks like 5 across the board on this one, and 2% of your power scaling on this one. That's pretty significant, dude. His alt is starting to get weaker, weaker, and weaker, and pretty soon it's going to be irrelevant, to tell you the truth. So the total power scaling, or the total scaling decrease from this went from 216% to 192%. Like I said, it's right there at that teeter-totter where it's starting to get a little too weak, right? Okay, so Ravana, right? So he's getting nerfs. So his Prana Onslaught, they decrease the damage on this one from 90, 145, 200, 255, and 310 to 90, 140, 190, 240, and 290. So it starts scaling down after its second level, losing 20 damage late game. So his 10-hand Shadow Fist. So they decrease the damage on this one from 100, 140, 180, 220, and 260. To pretty much take away 10 damage across the board on this one. Now, this is one that actually got me a little surprised. It caught me a little bit by surprise, right? Because they just buffed Thor not too long ago, and little by little, they're starting to pull back on these buffs. So there's going to be a lot of the Thor players out there that I'm sure are going to be rubbed the wrong way on this one. And that's because Thor's Warrior's Madness got nerfed by 30%, right? So it went from 10 damage to 7 damage or physical power gain, right? So it went from 10 power gain to 7 power physical power gain, which is significant, man. 30% is huge. And then his Tectonic Rift, they decreased the physical power scaling on this one from 30% to 20%. So it got nerfed by a third, right? So they took away 10% on Tectonic Rift, which is huge, man. I know there's going to be a lot of Thor players out there that are going to be very upset on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the 10.7 bonus update, right? A few minor nerfs, but some nerfs that I'm sure is going to ruffle a lot of feathers out there. But anyway, man, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications. And don't forget, we're streaming every Tuesday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time on our Twitch channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm Garza, your OG on GC. We'll see you next time.